an all new exclusive episode of Style by Stevie, and we are here joined with the amazing Fred Taylor. Welcome if you're just coming in, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. All of my new subscribers out there, and I see you guys have been subscribing. I see a bunch of new faces, so thank you all for subscribing to the channel, loving the content. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and make sure that your notifications are all set for all, the first option. All right. So without further ado, let's get into our very special guest today. This is a Saturday interview. It's been a minute since I've done a Saturday show because I do the show Monday through Friday. This would be like what, show number five? So we have been on the go back to back to back to back to back to back. I gave y'all five different looks. So it's been amazing. A very special thank you to my glam squad, Melanie Nalla, my bridgers, my makeup artist who always gets me right. And a very special thank you to my hairstylist, Ashley at Ashley's Salon. She's the lead key hairstylist here. All right. So without further ado, Fred, welcome to the Dollhouse. It is such a pleasure to have you here. And how has 2026 been for you thus far?
2026 has been a blessing. I I can't explain how things has been, and I can only be grateful. And but the good Lord done said, "Hey, put on your seatbelt." So that's what I did.
Yes, 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 yes. And this is going to be a journey for both of us together because I got introduced to you through one of my girlfriends, Faith is
Mm-hmm.
the Substance. She is live currently doing the show. So we're both doing the show at the same time. I was
Oh.
skeptical. I thought it was a playback notification.
Hmm.
Yes, I know. I had to delete the other one. I had one set for 4 a.m. and I'm like, wait, we didn't set one for 4 a.m. We set one for 4 p.m. Saturday. But
Hmm.
here we are. Welcome if you are just coming in, and shout outs to my fraternal B Walker. But let's start at the beginning of your journey, Fred. Now, born in Dayton, Ohio. When I think of Ohio, I think of another part of Ohio, which is Cleveland. And
Hmm.
you know which actress I'm going to name, Holly Berry. She is from the Ohio area. So tell us what it was like for you growing up in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh man, it was definitely an experience living in Dayton, Ohio. There's a lot of great history in Dayton, Ohio. A lot of influencers, a lot of athletes, a lot of poets, especially the high school that I went to was Paul Lawrence Dunbar, and Paul Lawrence Dunbar was a poet, and he actually lived um, pretty much down the street. I'll probably say like a couple of miles away from the school. So it's a lot of history there, a lot of history.
Yes, 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 yes. And you've also got into some bodybuilding as well. We'll get into that a little bit later in the show, but I like to start at the beginning of your journey. Now, the first movie you saw, because you saw so many, would have to be Raw by Eddie
Mm,
Murphy.
right.
And Woman, you've also went on to go see uh what else? White Men Can't Jump. It's a few of them. Yes, I've
Eh,
done my homework. We do our
oh,
homework over here on
oh,
Style by Stevie.
homework. Yeah, it's a lot of a tons and tons and tons of movies. Especially movies that I wasn't supposed to see. Um, but especially like growing up back then. Eddie Murphy was my favorite actor. The comedy, the reactions, his ability to pick up sounds and pick up voices to and make it his own, or even change his voice to sound like his brother, to sound like his peers. It was a remarkable thing to see, and that's something that I felt like I could do. And um and I did do it for a long time.
Yes, and you started memorizing at the age of 6 years old that you always wanted to be an actor.
Mhm.
And just a few, you would imitate Bernie Mac, you would imitate uh, Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey, so many. Yes, we do our homework over here.
Yes, I
So,
love.
and your sister took you to see that at a very young age, Raw by Eddie Murphy, and that kicked open the door for you to then have your own career.
Yes, yes, definitely did. I really wanted to pursue comedy. because I was so influenced by Eddie Murphy, by Dave Chappelle, and another one of my favorites, Martin Lawrence. So I really, at that age, I was very courageous to say and do and be loud. So it was. It That's where that all came from, and even to this day, anybody, if you was born in the 80s, you definitely watched, Eddie Murphy, and you definitely watched Martin Lawrence, the show Martin Living Single, and
Oh,
that whole line of stuff. That Thursday night was everybody's lock in night to like watch all that stuff and then go into school the next day and be like, hey, did you watch this and did you watch that? And that was like my cue to sound like them and do everything. So yeah.
and you've also majored in theater communications
Yeah.
at Wilmington College. You studied theater as well. And I'm going to piggyback because I talk about Living Single all the time. That is one
Oh,
of my favorite shows.
mhm.
And there wouldn't be no Friends if it wasn't for a Living Single. Look
Ab-
me closely in my eyes when I
abs-
tell y'all that. It was for the culture. And as you said, for
mhm.
Fox, when they had that lineup. We can't forget Rock as well too, with
Yeah.
Charles S.
Mhm.
Dutton and Ella
Yeah.
Joyce.
Yes.
So it was
And I love
Black, New York Undercover. All of those shows were out during that time.
yes, and
But
I love
Go ahead.
oh yeah, I love Charles S. Dutton, and I actually like years ago, I went to a acting summit with Tasha Smith, and he was a special guest, and for him to go into a conversation about his life and go right into a monologue, it was an amazing thing because it went from just seeing Charles and then going right into to somebody completely different. It really like was like, oh, that's exactly how I want to be. So yeah.
And you graduated with a bachelor's as well too. So getting into fine arts, that kicked open the door. This was in 2011 when you graduated. What was your reaction to it all coming to you full circle, getting your feet out here after completing something that you studied?
Oh man, it was like a breath of fresh air because I had a lot of people against me, and I had a lot of negativity around me. I had high school counselors telling me that I wouldn't go to college, and I had this counselor. It goes by the Chip Murdoch, and he he pretty much we went through this whole the day I graduated, we went through this whole thing. He was like, "Man, it's been a long journey for you," because it took me 2.5 years to actually get into college. And I talked to him almost every day for 3 years when I before I got in. So me and him have a lot of history, and for him to see me walk, which I never got a chance to walk in high school. So for me to walk and for him to see that, it was a dream come true.
And there you are. You landed your first role in A Christmas Tree Miracle. This was
Mhm.
3 years later. But I want to go back to naysayers because it's always the ones who doubt you, who don't think you're capable of doing this. And your story, when you said that, that kind of reminded me of T-Boz from TLC. Y'all know I love T-Boz.
Oh yeah, I love
Um,
T-Bone.
Her doctor told her, after finding out that she had sickle cell, because you guys know she has sickle cell, the doctor told her she'll never be able to walk or perform again. And sure enough, she is on stage dancing and performing. So it's always the naysayers that doubt you, even with me, which is why part of the reason I created Style by Stevie, because I've had doors closed in my face because one, I'm a black woman.
Mm,
Colorism is real. I'm not
yeah,
the lightest girl in the room. I
right.
don't look like a Cameron Hall. I have my own look, and I've been told I looked exotic, whatever that means. I guess because of I just don't look like your regular schmegular talk
Right.
show hostess, platform hostess. So I said, you know what? At a certain period of time, we get tired. People get
Yeah.
tired of naysayers, and I went and I created my own catalyst, and that's what you have to do as an actor. Now, you tore your knee and an injury, but you didn't let that stop you. What
Yeah.
was it that was the force that kept you going?
Oh man. To be honest, well, the force that kept me going was bodybuilding was the force that kept me going, because at that particular time, I I told myself I didn't want to do acting again. But when I got into bodybuilding and started to learn and actually go into bodybuilding competitions, it is just like acting. You know, you there's two different parts of bodybuilding, where it's the part where you do all the movements, you the posing, and that's where you get judged, and then there's the routine after the intermission. And the routine was the acting part for me, because we had to come up with our own routine and come up with our own style, come up with our own music, and you portraying your um it's like a silhouette from going from one muscle to the next. So you pretty much have to paint a picture for people to see, when doing that. And that's one of the things that I felt like I shined at and made it my own, because I had a fedora hat, and I did all the exotic
We
songs and stuff.
sing,
So
we
so
sing.
right. So I kind of went into like a stripper phase, so it turned into that. And I was still able to be on stage and able to act in a way. So that's one of the things that kept me going. And it also made me feel like I was still acting. And that was basically a good time for me. I did it for about 5 or 6 years, and I felt good. I felt great. I looked great, and that's one thing that I've been trying to maintain ever since I started.
Is human nature inherently good, in your opinion, from your perspective, through all of the obstacles that you've encountered? And you've also had four knee surgeries, am I correct? Because again, that didn't slow you down, but do you believe that human nature is inherently
Is inherently,
good?
I do believe so, and it's also what you make of it. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I look at that as, you're either going to look at it in two things: the cup is half full or the cup is half empty. And you might as well just, what I'm saying, put it have the mindset the cup is half full, because you know it's it's all about the mindset. And even in bodybuilding, even in acting, or if you want to be a barber or a landscaper or anything like that, it's all in the mind, because either way you're going to have negativity and life hit you regardless. So you might as well just stay focused and stay in the realm of what you want to do, and protect your dream, and protect your gift. And I say give your gift back to God, because he's going to take care of it and shape it himself. And all you got to do is follow his program. That's my thing.
What defines your personal identity as an actor, as a creative? Because I love your story. When I watched your interview with my girl Faith, I'm like, wow, you have a story that needs to be told. You are a living, walking, breathing testament. And it's so many people who have also had injuries, and that didn't stop them, that didn't slow them down. We've seen so many people who have been paralyzed and
Hmm.
have woken up out of a coma. We've seen those type of stories, we've heard
Yeah.
those type of stories, and it's just like, is it possible? Can it be real? What was it for you that defines your personal identity?
What did it for me was, me. I would definitely say, you know, this is a little touchy, but when I attempted to take my own life, it definitely changed my whole perspective of life. Because not only did I took a step back, but like God put me exactly right where I left him, which was Wilmington College. I stayed at Wilmington. I went back to school because I didn't have a place to stay. I had a best friend who stayed on campus, and I slept on her couch, for months, and just to get back on my feet. And when I finally got back on my feet, I started to get dreams. I started to get this feeling that something has to be better than where I'm at, and I felt that. And once I realized that something is definitely better, I started to think that way. And once I started to think that way, more opportunities started to come that I didn't expect. And some things came that I didn't want because I had a one track mind. So I went on ahead and still came out of my own way and made a way. So that's what happened.
And then you took a 10-year hiatus, and I always talk to a lot of actors about this when they find themselves where work is kind of slowing up. They are just like, what do I do from here? Where do I go? And
Hmm.
shout outs to Tyrone Nathaniel, an amazing actor. His mom has a production company, and by the grace of God, it's amazing to have family around you that are doing the same thing as you, that are in the business, that can help you out and lift you up if need be, definitely for
Right.
sure. And he works with his mother with her production company. But for you, you got up and you decided to write. You've wrote
Right.
3 screenplays. And then you took a 10-year hiatus as well after the knee surgeries, of course, to bounce back, get yourself back on your feet as an actor, as a creative.
Yeah.
So, what is one thing in life that you are grateful for that makes you complete? And to go back to what you just said about, wanting to end it, like end it, that's not for anybody who's ever had that dark cloud, that dark feeling come over them where it's just like, this is the end for me. I'm at my wits' end. I don't know what to do. That's not
Mm.
the answer. Find
Right.
your way. And with Fred telling us that right there, that's powerful because you said college saved your life.
It did.
Wilmington saved your
Yeah.
life. Find that outlet, find that escape. Trust me, I've been there too. So when you said that I was like, ooh, because I can relate to that. There have
Right.
been times where I've had my days and I've had that thought,
Hmm.
but I'm just like, if you do that, the people around you, the people who watch your platform, the people who love you, who adore you, they will
Yeah.
miss you. That will be like a void, an empty void
Right.
inside of them, and not just them, but within yourself, because you're not there to give people that joy, that feeling. But for you, what is the one thing in life that you are grateful for that makes you feel whole, that makes you feel complete?
I am definitely grateful that for one, I wake up in the morning. That's
Mm,
one thing. I'm definitely grateful that I wake up in the morning. I'm definitely grateful that I where I am in my life. I live in the city of Atlanta now. I'm not back at home. I could be working in a factory back home right now. You know, and by the grace of God, he made a path. You know, I say this to my friends, and I say this to anybody who is willing to listen, that you know the f- there's this thing about how God operates. And God, he he started at the end of our life. He comes back and finishes at our beginning. He comes in and say, "Hey, Fred Taylor, come forward." He already names us. He already knows us by name while we're in the womb. He plants dreams in our head, which is our lives that is yet to come. So that's why he always say, do not be afraid, because not only have I lived your life already, but it's your time to finish. So we are here for a purpose, and we are here to solve one problem. One problem, and that is for the whole generation to watch and see, and to pull
mm,
people up. So that once I figured that out, I have a purpose, and my whatever and that purpose is the word of mouth for me. whether I'm here on this platform or you see me on TV, I'm doing what I've been closed to do when I was a kid. I was very locked down as a kid. I really couldn't speak my mind. So whether I'm speaking and coming from a script, or I'm on this platform, I'm actually this is actually who I am. So that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful to find my voice. I'm grateful to speak. I am grateful to hear. I'm grateful to see, because I want to see things that God can see. He can see far beyond, and I want to see around the corner. I want to see what's going on in my life, saying tomorrow, next week, all that. So that's what I'm living for, and I'm living for my dream, and that's exactly what I want, and I won't stop until I get it.
If you could describe yourself in 3 words, how would you describe yourself?
Oh man, discipline, intentional, and loving.
I would say so too. I would second that because you represent all of that. You are, again, a living testimony. And I'm going to go back to what you just said off a generation, which is legacy. I talk a lot to people, because we always sit and think and reflect, being in the present, being in the moment, and what we can do in the next lifetime. And I give an example. I'll put myself on Front Street. I have a nephew that will be 3 next month.
Hmm.
And if he wants to get into the business of doing what Auntie Stevie does, which is hosting a platform or writing, because I also write for Original Magazine UK, the
Okay.
fashion column. So if that's something that he wants to do, I wouldn't mind giving my expertise. I wouldn't mind giving all of the gems and the knowledge that I have. And it's important that it's a saying that goes like this: each one teach one, and we have to be there to teach that next generation what they need to learn, the tools and the tricks of the trade, and that's important for each and every one of us. So make sure that you're doing that as well too. Are there
Absolutely.
any life lessons that you wish you would have known earlier in your life or in your career?
I have a couple. One of the life lessons that I would have loved to learn back then is failure. I felt that failure was. I always felt that I was a failure because I was always failing, and I always wanted to be right for the first time. I wanted to do things right, you know, as it comes, and God had a different way. He wanted me to learn the hard way, and um and I realized just maybe a few years ago that failure is okay, and you actually have to fail, and when you do it big, because when you fail, what's the first thing that we do? We like, okay, so I failed. All right, that didn't work. This didn't work. That didn't work. So fix those things and go and keep going, and you will see it makes who you are. you know and even in acting, you know there is no right or wrong in acting, because it's about your image and about your ideas of the character, that you are putting forth. Like the actor Robin Williams. He's a comedian.
Oh,
He he is uh he is the most funniest person that I've ever seen. And they said that his very first audition that he ever did, he did it upside down. He did a handstand upside down and recited the whole lines. And they felt that that was the most um, invigorating thing that they have ever seen, while everybody was coming in doing it the same way. He came in and he did it upside down, and they loved it. And he was on fire from start to finish. So there is no right or wrong, and there's no right or wrong. So if you're going to fail, you gotta fail big. And when you do, you learn from it. and that's another thing that Dave Chappelle told me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you are not a failure to anybody. To add on to what Fred just said, to anybody out there, because even me, I felt like I've given up my mom, and I'll give you an example. I'm very close to my mom. My mom means the world to me. And I did something earlier. I went in and I got my grandmother something. I told you not to use that card. And she was fussing. She was like, "You have a heart like mine. You like to give. We literally are the same person." Hi, Chrissy. Hey, baby. Welcome. If you're just coming in, welcome. We are here with Fred Taylor, and we are just talking about life's lessons. To anybody who feel as though they're not good enough, they're feeling as though they haven't done their best or given their all, you are whole, you are everything, and you're doing an absolutely amazing job. To anybody out there who's feeling though I'm not as good as everybody else, you doubt yourself and you sort of beat yourself up. And that's something that I've learned that I've had to stop doing. And
Right.
B Walker, if he's still in here, shout outs to him. He was like, stop beating yourself up, stop doubting yourself. Like, girl, get a grip. You are doing great. I would literally watch my interviews, Fred,
Hmm.
and I would go back and pick out stuff. I would pick myself apart. Whereas everybody else is saying you did good. You're
Hmm.
looking for the bad, but everybody else is not seeing it. But when you
Right.
are a perfectionist, when you are a creative, you're like Erica Badu said it. That y'all know I cuss a little bit. She said I'm sensitive about my shit, and that
Hmm.
is real talk. As a creative,
Real,
to anybody
real-
here that can
right.
understand. And I'm the
Hmm.
same way. I like it to be perfect. The lighting has to be perfect, the detailed, every single thing. I don't care. I want my eyelashes to be perfect. No spinach on the teeth, nothing. Because women in this business, we get such a bad rep if everything is not amazing or top tier.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm
yeah,
I'm on sets all the time, and I will watch my peers. As soon as we cut from one set, from one scene, they're running right to the cameras like, okay, how did that look? How did this look? Okay, I
yeah.
I think I could do it again, and stuff like that. And I'm definitely the same way to an extent. I just want to see how it look, and see what I can do, and see if I can make some changes or anything like that. And that's what I do all the time. And even seeing the films, I watch them one time and I don't watch them again, because like I sometimes I just be like, I could have did better. I don't like my face like that. I don't like my facial expressions.
Yeah.
I don't like, they caught me I was blinking too much. So it's it is that we tear ourselves up because we are perfectionists. And or even in bodybuilding, I come from weight loss, and I was 268 pounds, right? So I can go in the mirror and look at myself. I'm like, okay, I need to change my meal prep. I need to add sweet potatoes, just to give me some fullness. I need to add this, and I need to add that. My bodybuilding coach was a scientist when it came to that. He can look at me and he can pull my skin, and he can say, all right, you've been eating too much cheese. All right, you're gonna have to take out the cheese. You know, get feta cheese instead. Get this and get that, because I it's kind of hard for me to pull your skin, and get the reading off of it. So, dial that down. Drink more water. Do this and do that. And I'm like, how did you see that from you? Like I could tell. So yeah, those are those things where I pick myself apart, and I do it with love. I definitely do it with love. A lot of people be like, why are you so hard on yourself? It's because nobody else is going to be hard on me. That's the thing. Nobody is going to be hard on me but me. There's a lot of people that's gonna be like, "Oh, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. You look great, you look sexy." And you be like, "You just saying that because you want to go out to eat." And if I look at myself, I'm gonna go right back to my meal plan for the next 3 weeks, and not touch, not go out, not go do this. So you just saying that just because you want to go out. So yeah.
What is some of the best advice that you've received and you've since then followed along in your life and in your career?
Oh man, there's a lot of things. shout out to J.W. Myers for telling me how to be ready. He A friend of mine wanted to go to LA to pursue acting, and he said if you're going to go LA, if you're going to go to Atlanta, or if you're going to go anywhere out of the state and do anything, you will want to get settled. Get settled first. Get settled with your job. Get settled with the community. Get settled in your place. Make sure that you have a nice solid foundation. Give yourself a good year before going into acting classes, going into auditions, because these acting classes and these auditions and these portfolios cost money, and you're constantly refreshing every year, and that takes a lot of money, especially when you're trying to get your reels, when you're trying to get um uh headshots done, because they're not cheap. And even back in the day, before taking out the middleman of doing reels, you actually had to wait for the movie to come out to get your reels. You don't have to do that now, so that's where that extra money comes in. After a movie is done, you be like, all right, or get a reel. People can just be a professional of just getting reels done, and there's everybody like, hey, where can I see that movie? It looks good, and be like, no, it's a reel. I did it for my portfolio. So that's one of the things where I let that sink in, because when I first moved out here in 2020, I didn't call nobody, I didn't do anything, I didn't do network, I didn't do anything. I just got settled into my job, got settled into my place, got settled into my community, and just didn't put any pressure on myself to act. And then once that year came, I was settled, and I was like, all right, let's see what we got. And when I did that, um, it felt like I never left the industry at all, and I took off right where I left off.
What philosophy guides your decisions in life?
Ooh, um, there's a saying that sticks with me every day. It says, "True desire in the heart for anything good is God's way to let you know that it's yours." And when you know that, take it and run with it. And it's it's like a mantra that I listen to each and every day. And you know it's something that I take after, in a time where it's difficult, when I feel like I'm not a good actor, I feel like, I'm not getting anything done, or I have a problem at work. But that that settles me, and that is like, okay, I'm doing okay. It's just a character building day, and we all have them. So you're still an actor, you still have a job, you still have transportation, you got food in the fridge. We have exactly what we need to keep moving and to keep going. Stick with that. More things is going to come. More things are going to leave, and more things are going to come.
And that you have two upcoming projects coming up. But before we do that, you have a very extensive resume of work, and you've done Tears of a Hustler 3, you've done Rogue, you've done Cut. You've had the pleasure of working with my girl Rashida Randall, who's a good girlfriend
Oh,
of mine, and I'm gonna let you know what she said about me when I first met her. Because I didn't know we have like this group chat that I created of all black women creators. And
mhm.
it's a few actresses in there. One of them, I'm pretty sure you know her, Ro Underwood, who does a lot of acting coaching. I
Oh,
didn't know Rashida knows Ro. So
mhm,
when I sat down with her and I did my interview, I said it's a group of women, and Rashida's in the group as well too. So we keep in touch, all of us. We're in the chat and we're sharing ideas, what we're working
mhm,
on our projects. You have Kendra, shout outs to Kendra Shanae, who's a singer. She's in the group. It's all black women. And
mhm,
I just put us all together in a group chat, and Rashida's in there. And before I gave her the warning, She said, "You must be the troublemaker in the group."
Mm.
I am. I'm a Scorpio.
Right.
I'm a Scorpio,
Oh,
so I'm a wild card. You don't know what you're gonna get with me, but I'm other than that, I'm a good girl. But I
okay.
love to have a good time, and that was one thing she said. She said, "You must be the one that like to cut up and bad in the group," and
Hmm.
she for sure was right.
Oh yeah,
But
there's all.
that commodity, she's been on the show twice. Go ahead, Fred.
Yeah, she is definitely amazing talent. Amazing talent. I've worked with her. We have a project that we're planning to finish, and working with her, being on set with her was amazing. Just seeing how she just float, just in her, in the work, and in her, in the pocket of things. It was amazing to see, and we flowed very, very well, like instantly. We only had, I believe, we only had one table read, and then we dove right in, and the connection was real and very classy woman.
And her spirit, one other thing on her is
Mm.
her spirit, her energy. She brings the characters to
Mhm.
life the same way you do. I've seen you in Tears of a Hustler, and I just not too long ago had King Judah on the show, so he's also in the
Mm.
Tears of a Hustler
That's my.
franchise. He was on last week. So
Yeah.
working with your peers, King Judah, what was it like working with him? Because you've
Oh,
also shout outs to O'Shea Russell, Michael
oh
James,
shit.
who I've had the pleasure of sitting down with. And
Mhm.
I haven't sat down with O'Shea, but I got a Michael James story for you, Fred, and it is kind of funny. But working
Yeah.
with King Judah, what was it like?
Working with King Judah, we have, I say we have six projects together, and he was my the first guy I worked with in my first movie, in Surviving Matters, and it was he's I we cling together immediately, and it's because we have the same acting styles, and a lot of, and it's crazy how seeing him get roles, because we would, without even knowing, we would audition for the same things, and what I would get, he would like, yo, I put in for that, but he ended up getting something else, or I would I would be supporting and he would get another, a different project, but it's the same thing that I auditioned for. So we would always get the same stuff. And I remember after Survivor Matters, he was like, "Man, you came on set and you brought it and you made me step up my game." And I was like, "Well, what I'm saying, you step up my game because you are in the pocket and you are flowing. You are booked and busy, and that's where I want to get to." And that's one of the things that he told me. He told me like, make sure you put yourself out there, bro. Put yourself out there, and everybody gets a turn. And that's one of the things that stuck with me, and that's what one of the things that made me follow. And I follow him secretively, like, okay, this is how he does it. Then I'm gonna take it and use it over here, because I there there is a lot of competition in this industry, but I don't use it as competition. If somebody has, saying something that I lack, I'm gonna see if I can learn it, and I'm gonna take it, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna roll with it and see if it works for me. If it don't, because everybody has a different style and everything. Me and him will get on set, and he'll know where I'm struggling with my lines because I start blinking a lot. So when I start blinking, he'll take over, and then he brings me back in. So that's the type of connections that you have as an actor with your peers sometimes, especially if you're on set with them for like a week or two. You manage to pull in and figure people out and see what their ticks are, so you can help them be better, or they help you. And that's my guy Judah.
And bounce off of each other's energy. Now,
Yep.
when we did our first interview, back in, I think it was July or June. The hair is smooth. Thank you, Deshaun. Thank you. I had to choose a autonomous shade. I went back to black. What was that? Yesterday when I did my interview with. Oh my God, I can't even remember. It's been so many interviews throughout this week. But y'all make
Hmm.
sure y'all go back and check out the replay. No, it was Count Federico. Count Federico. We went to Black yesterday, but uh, I was talking about King Judah. When I first met him, Fred, he was intimidating, and I let him know honestly, which was why I wore my hair over my eye. If you go back and you watch the interview, I've
Yeah.
seen him in Tears of a Hustler, and if you watch the film, he had a tattoo on his face,
Yep.
and he looked intimidating. And
Yeah.
that was a misconception that people always have about him. But when you see him like behind the scenes, like how I'm talking to Fred here, he was very down to earth. He was very laid back. And then you saw
Mm,
me, okay, she's opening up her eyes. I opened my eyes.
mm,
I wore my hair out so that everybody could see my eyes. Whereas in the first one, I told my hairstylist, just cover that eye right there. And I want to leave one eye out so that I can pay attention to him because he looks intimidating. Now, Michael
yeah.
James, because he's also in the Tears of a Hustler franchise. And shout outs to the beautiful Sasha Love as well, to his
Mm.
wifey.
Oh yeah.
But oh my God, Michael James, that's a fool, Fred.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh,
he really gets into his character. But we
he does.
found out that we have something in common. If you guys seen the film National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, it
Yes.
was a scene in there, and he just broke out when we did our interview into the character, Chevy Chase's character in the interview,
Yeah.
and I just could not contain myself. So that was the funny thing that happened. That's the type of person he is. But working with Michael James, what was it like also in the Tears of a Hustler franchise?
Oh man. Working with Michael James, I worked with him before. In Devotion and Homicides, which was a film that was all improv, was straight. It was from start to finish. They just gave us like the scenario that we're in, and they just let us run with it. And seeing him do improv and with his comedic timing and skills, it was very very funny to see because he was a pastor, but he was a thug too. So him throwing in scripture along with "I'm gonna kick yo," it just be like, how did what that is that's unethical, but it was funny, and and he brought life to the set, most majority of the times. And just learning about him, how he got into acting um later on, but he also rapped. He did music, and I was like, oh snap! And he lost a lot of weight just like I did. And when it came down to working on Tears of a Hustler, um, he he gave me some flowers. He was like, bruh, I didn't know you had it like that, because like it was the scene where I was tied up and I was getting beat up, and he was like, bro, they should have gave you a different role, because what I'm saying, that we needed more of you. And that made me feel good. So, and when you hear that type of stuff from your peers, it's not just validation, it's that stamp of approval, because the people that you watch, saying for years and years and years, on Tubi, and you finally on set with them, and you're actually grinding with them, and you're actually doing it, and they be like, hey man, that was a good job, I like you, the way you did that, that was dope. You be like, oh yeah, I'm okay, we're there. And just getting that vibe and that energy, especially coming from Natasha Eli, it was an amazing thing. It was an amazing thing.
And she was amazing.
Oh,
Shout outs to her. She's
oh yeah.
also has we both have a connection from being from the Carolinas because I'm in South Carolina. And shout outs to my girl Faith is the substance. Make sure y'all
Mm,
go and check her out. That's actually how I met Fred, was through her. And we was just talking about you, girl. She said, Miss Stevie, I love your hair. Y'all have been loving the hair changes lately. You can't just
yeah.
give me credit. You gotta give my hairstylist, Ashley. She hooked the girl up because yesterday I said I wanted to go back to black. Monica was the hair inspiration for that one. And today for
Mm,
this one, it was T-Boz from TLC in the No Scrubs video. So
I-
y'all are seeing all of the pink and the
mm,
fuchsia. Shout outs to Melanie. She made it happen. So, working with the amazing glam squad, a beauty team, it all comes together. But enough about beauty and hair and stuff. I can't talk to Fred about that. But let's talk about your projects because you have some projects that are coming out. So
mm-hmm.
tell us a little bit about your character because I know you can't give away the whole detail or plot of the film.
Uh, well, there's a plethora of them that's coming out so far. If you haven't gone to see Rogue, definitely go see Rogue.
Oh yeah.
Directed by Amiga. Um, very very talented, very a visionary. You know, her vision, um, especially her background from the military, reminds me of my sister. So seeing, so how she operates and orchestrates her and structure, her films is something that I definitely can relate to, and seeing her vision for this film was great, and playing the role of Anthony, um, it kind of felt like it was a part of me, because that's pretty much how I act a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm I'm a realist, but I'm also, what I'm saying, on the edge of, of that spice and that adrenaline. So getting into that, and being able to do stunts for the very first time, it was definitely a great experience. I also have something coming up. Big shout out to Leo Sullivan of the Gangster's Love Story, followed by Castro Stagg, and the great Drew Sidora. That was an amazing that was an amazing opportunity, and I play Frank. And that's definitely a side of me that I always wanted to portray, is the demeanor and anger and grief and grit. So it was definitely something that I think people are really really going to like, standing along next to Drew Sidora.
Oh yes, and we see her on Housewives. So y'all make sure y'all tune into
Yes,
Bravo. Catch her on
yes,
Housewife. But I'm gonna
yes.
piggyback off of what you just said. Tapping into that side, that was something that me and King Judah touched on just
Hmm.
this week, not too long ago. We were
Right.
talking about seeing him in these gritty, edgy roles, like
Hmm.
he's intimidating. But
Right.
then he says, "I'm going to be getting into a more vulnerable." So you guys are both doing the complete opposite. I don't know if you know
Right.
that. You said you're wanting to get into that more gritty, that having that strong demeanor, and he's going to be getting into a more vulnerable. I said, I want to see you in something more so like a Pursuit of Happiness, a Will Smith cry. I want to see
Right.
you cry. And he says, don't worry, but he really had to make himself go there. It's a thing for actors where
Hmm.
you have to find that space, find, or as John Stamos, and I think Kiki Palmer said this too, you have to find that escape. Find that
Yeah.
thing that you have to think about that gets you there, that'll make you cry for that scene. If that director or producer says, cry, and that shouldn't be very hard for you, but for you doing your stunts, I'm so proud of you because your testimony, again,
Mm.
4 knee surgeries. This man has had 4 knee
Yeah.
surgeries, an operation. He's had an injury, and you are bouncing right back. Again, it just shows the power of resilience. So for you to
Yeah.
be able to tap into that, that is powerful, and that's God's will all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And being told after my fourth surgery that I shouldn't work out, I shouldn't do anything, I shouldn't, was I I I actually, when he told me that, I'm like, okay, what kind of doctor is this? I need a new doctor, because obviously, because like he already saw how fit I was, especially at that particular time. I was really 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 muscular. So, and being out for that long period of time, my legs started to atrophy and get small. So one leg was bigger than the other, and also from my knee to my ankle, there's nerve damage from my knee to my ankle. So I can't feel the side of my calf. But the greatest thing about how God works is that I can still run on the treadmill all day. I can run on the treadmill for an hour and be fine. Just all I need is my brace. All I needed, I don't, and all I told the doctor, I was like, I don't care about weights or anything like that as far as my legs go. I just want to be able to run and keep the weight off. And he's like, all right, this is it. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You're gonna do what you want to. I was like, I'm definitely gonna do what I'm gonna do, because I'm not gonna stop running. because that's one of the things that actually kept me lean and kept my mental right, alongside of lifting weights. So I was like, you're not going to tell me I can't do that.
Mm. And see, determination is key. So anybody out there that, you have people around that are doubt that will kind of doubt you or second guess, like, okay, you sure you want to do this? Like Fred just said, yes, T Boz did. We spoke on that, Deshaun. She did. She does have sickle cell, and the true
Mm-hmm.
story is she did not stop. She kept going. She's still performing, and in fact, she's on tour right now with Salt and Pepper. So
Hmm.
I mean, she hasn't stopped. She's still going. And that's the
Yeah,
power of resilience. Is when you
yeah.
have people that doubt you, there's always a setback, you keep on going. And that's the
Hmm.
end result. All
And
right,
that's how you
Fashion
know.
Dog. You're gonna check out Rogue. Go ahead, Fred.
Yeah, and that's why you, when it comes to your gift, you will never retire from your gift. You're always going to be able to utilize your gift. Like, look at these basketball players who are retired. They're around the game some way, shape, or form. They're either a coach, an analyst, or a president of a basketball team, or a camp, or anything. When it comes to the older actors, you know they're still acting. They may take smaller roles, but it still gives them that fulfillment. So you're so when you're looking at T-Boz, it's not going to stop her. It's not going to, as long as she got that throat chakra, that she could throw out some songs and throw out some hits. She's not going to stop. Nobody is. And I tell anybody, don't you ever stop your dream. Once you find out what your dream is, protect it and fight for it each and every day. And that's what I'm in the process of doing now. Because people can tell me today, like, you suck, and I'm like, well, that's a matter of your opinion. But there's some people who like what I do. I'm somebody's cup of tea.
Absolutely, to anybody. And those are the ones that are miserable within themselves. Those are the ones that say stuff like that. And it's just
Yeah.
like you said, your opinion. That's
Mm.
you. You're not going to be
Yeah.
everybody's cup of tea. You're not going to be everybody's morning Joe. The best thing is to keep going for yourself and don't worry
Yeah.
about the naysayers, the doubters, because you're going to have
Yeah.
those. They'll come a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
But
And they will come around too. They will come around.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, Fashion Dolls, we're about to have some fun here with Fred. It's been a minute since we've done our games here. The first one is
Oh.
called the Rapid Five, and Fred has to tell me five things that he can't live without. And then in the next one, he's going to get an opportunity to ask me some questions in a segment I call Turn the Tables. So
Oh.
my guests are putting me in the hot seat. It's not going to be Style by Stevie, what y'all see.
Mm.
It is going to be the Fred Taylor show. Okay, so he's going to get a chance to ask me any of you guys' burning questions, some of his burning questions out of curiosity for a lot of you out there. But we're going to start off
Mm.
with the rapid five. Now, Fred, I'll
Mm.
give an example of things that I like that are my guilty pleasures. I love cookies and cream ice cream. I'm a big
Mm.
cookies and cream ice cream junkie.
Hmm.
And one of my favorite movies, since you saw Eddie Murphy Raw, one of my favorite Eddie Murphy movies is Harlem Nights. So I
I
know
love
the line word for word. And
word
I
for
always wanted to be Vera. I always wanted to be Della Reese's character. She came in
oh,
with such big energy. But
oh,
those are a few
always
things.
she always
Yes.
had big energy. Always, and I love it. I love it. I love that.
Now, for you,
Oh
what are
yeah.
your five things that you can't live without? Your rapid five.
Ooh, rapid five. Okay. Everybody knows that one, I cannot live without the gym. I can't. I can't. If I miss a day, if I miss a day, I'm like, okay, something's wrong. Something's wrong. I gotta go to the gym and do something. One of them, pizza. That is, I'm always going to eat pizza. I I I look. My mom. Before I was born, my mom was eating a cheese. pepperoni and cheese pizza before going into labor. Ever since I have that is I can't live without pizza. I can throw up a pizza and be like, all right, where's the other box at? That's just me. Another three more things that I cannot live without is TV. TV, I'm that's definitely a guilty pleasure of mine because people likes to go out to lounges, people likes to go out to bars, people likes to go and just be festive and everything like that. I am very very happy with just having a pizza, my favorite bag of chips, and a ginger ale, and just chill and watch movies all day. That is once I finish out my day, that's what I do, especially when I'm off of work and don't have anything. Another thing I probably say is something I can't live without. Um, Transportation in Atlanta, you have to have transportation. So I love being free to just get up and go. Um, that's another thing. And what I can't live without is, whew, I'm gonna say it, acting. Acting. It's even at the in the heart of me denying it for 10 years. It followed me through those 8 to 10 years all the time. I was either, if I wasn't thinking about acting, if I wasn't writing, if I wasn't watching TV, you know, it has it, something was in my head about an idea about acting. Either I was thinking like, man, I can be a Michael B. Jordan, or I could be a Anthony Hopkins. I just feel like I can be anything and anyone I want to be when I do it. So yeah.
All right, fashion dolls, there you have it. Those are Fred's favorite things, the rapid five. All right. It is time. And I'm so nervous because I have no clue what he's going to ask me. And for the
Mm,
viewers out there, fashion dolls, your burning questions, it is now time. Let me set these cards over to the side to
all
turn
right.
the tables. It is no longer Style by Stevie. It is the Fred Taylor Show, okay? And Fred is going
Mm-hmm.
to get a chance to ask me as many questions as he wants. And this is for my new viewers, new subscribers out here. If you're coming in, welcome to the Dollhouse. Welcome to Style by Stevie. And, well, the Fred Taylor Show is not Style by Stevie, but welcome if you're coming in. So
All right.
take it away.
Welcome to the Fred Taylor Show. I have a great guest here, and I'm going to ask her some questions. My first question to you is, where did you find your style? Because it's very very eclectic. It's very very spicy, and it's very unique. So where did that come from, and how was it developed, and it was like, and how did you just be like, you know what, I want this, I want that, and I don't care what anybody thinks. How'd that go?
Ooh, my mom. I give credits to my mom. My mom liked to mix and match different patterns. I read a lot of fashion magazines, Vogue, Harper's Bazaar. So I have to stay on top of the current trend. So I'm always
Hmm.
reinventing myself. Notice that in any conversation that I've had with any of my guests on my platform, I've
Hmm.
always reinvent myself. It's always been a reoccurring thing. So I get my sense of style basically from my mom, and then woo, for me, having the experience in this business. Hi, Lotus Egyptian Flower. We are now in the turn the table segment, girl. So welcome if you're just coming in. And Fred is asking me some questions. Looking good, Miss
Hmm.
Stevie. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Y'all, he asked about the style. So you guys wanted to know where do I get my sense of fashion from? From my mom. From my mom and a lot of fashion models that I see in Paris and
Mm.
Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. So I'm always got an issue of Vogue somewhere, or if not Vogue, then Cosmo. So I'm always
Nice.
in tune to staying on what's in trend and in style and
Oh,
fashion. So yeah.
And it's very very funny that that you're in style. That's something that you're into because before acting, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to design my own clothes. So I went to an art school, and I majored in fashion design, and I had a ton of ideas to, because like back then you had our my favorite designers was the rappers. It was the Nelly. It was the State Property. It was the Sean John. It was the Fat Farm. So I had that those ideas that I wanted to incorporate into my own. So I know exactly what you're talking about when you're coming from the fashion style. Um, Another question is, what is your take on content creators and actors together? Some people criticize content creators, and some people criticize actors, and some formulate that they're the same. What is your take?
Yes, that they're both artistry, creatives. I say creatives for myself as like an influencer or a content creator or host of a platform. I really don't put a label on it, but I say creatives. They're all merged together because, see, as an actor, you are able to put on the hat of a different person and bring a different person to life on screen every single day. You're putting on that character's cross. As you're reading the script, you're becoming this person. And I can give you an example like my girl, Rashida. Rashida, if you go through and you look at some of her roles, or Taraji P. Henson, who do we know her best
Mm,
as? Cook Lion. And we see her
right.
as whom? The Proud Mary. She was an assassin. Then we see her in Hidden Figures. Then we see her
Hmm.
in Streetwise, which was one that doesn't really get talked about a whole lot. That really put her on the scene. So we see her as Yvette in Baby Boy. The list goes on and on. She's played all of these different women. You look at Viola Davis, who is another. We know her as Annalise Keaton. And then we see her in what? The Help. I mean, it shows the range and the stability. So I would say creatives. So with people, getting upset about that, I put it all up under one umbrella. It's
Hmm.
creatives. Because it,
Right.
even as an influencer or a host of this platform, I'm giving you fashion. Me,
Mm,
the host is giving you fashion, but it's not my platform right now because Fred's got the mic. Yes, but it still it's a form of creativity because to be able to mix, I cover a number of things here, or not on my
mhm.
platform. I'm gonna say it again because I passed it back on over to Fred.
Right.
But on Style by Stevie, uh, I've covered a number of things, and I've infused fashion into that. I've
Mhm.
infused beauty into that. So it's a form of creativity. So I would say content creators and actors, creatives. But with
Yeah.
actors, you're turning on a different. With
Hmm.
creatives or content creators, you're vlogging your life, your real life, you're changing your look, you're documenting something. So that's the difference. But I say creatives in both fields.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that's a great way to look at it. I like that. I like that. I got another question. We we as visionaries, we have a great imagination, and at some point you were working somewhere. You were working somewhere and was like, you know what? This ain't working for me. I'm gonna do my thing full time. First, what were you doing before this? And second, what was the last straw that you was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going full time here, and I don't care how it's going to be or what how it's going to take. What was it?
Well, you guys know I also did the style report on 216 The Beat in Ohio, where Fred is from. And for me, due to creative differences, I was just like, okay, let me go ahead and branch off and do something else. And that's when I continued on with Style by Stevie. And this was around, I have to go back around 2022, 2023.
Hmm.
But that's under my belt to be able to have that experience of sharing styles because I would do celebrity style coverage and I would talk
Okay.
about it on the show Saturday. Like today's Saturday, we would do it at Saturday, and I would be able to get the luxury of calling in from my home, and I would pass the looks over to the manager of the radio, the host of the radio, and I would give my commentary. So that was fun. But I said, you know what? I want to do something else. This was the last straw for me. I'm cool. Let me go on ahead and venture off and do Style by Stevie. And the rest was history. We're here now. And I can't tell you guys how many interviews I've done. It's so many. They won't show you the count, but it's a lot. Y'all, it's a lot under my belt.
Nice. All right. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Man. Let's see. Um, when it comes to actors that you worked with and movies that you've seen, what are your top five Tubi actors and what were they in?
Well, first but certainly not least, well, first of all, I'm gonna start with he's a dear friend of the show. It would definitely have to be Nelson Davis. And
Mm.
one of my favorite films that he did, and he knows this because I told him this, it was Lady's Choice, where it was about the male review. For my ladies out there, definitely go and check it out. And I tease Nelson about it all the time. I saying I want my Lady's Choice either sequel or poster. You're gonna give me something. But
Mm.
yes, he's a dear friend of the show. Number two, oh wow, Dewan Ford. Dewan Ford. Uh,
Good.
Dance with the Devil. He did an outstanding job in that. To see able to see this man be able to this, just like Nelson, get out here to direct, produce, write. And when we did our interview, Fred, he was right there in action working as well too. So I'm just like,
Mm.
to be able to find that balance, he turned it on and he turned it off. So shout outs to
Nice.
Dewan Ford. Number three would have to be Fred Taylor. Y'all make sure y'all go and check him out in Rogue. His testimony is powerful. Um, Number four, King Judah, Tears of a Hustler 2. And number
Mm.
five, wow, Michael James in the is us. Oh my God. Y'all need to go and see it. It is a comedy. I'd love to see him in like this. It's called The Group Home. I think it's called The Group Home. If you guys have seen it,
Yep.
it's out on Tubi. The part where he's singing, and he
Mm-hmm.
knows this. I said, Michael, why are you doing this? Why? He posted the clip. I said, now you know. And it was him and Dwayne Cottle. So,
Mm-hmm.
and Dwayne will be coming on the show. So those are my top five. I could go on and say Hakeem Sharif. I could say, oh my God, it's
Good.
it's so many. Uh, Lamaster Spratlin. Uh,
Oh man.
my girl Faith has had y'all all on the show. I've had a few, but not all of them. But Nelson is a
Yeah.
dear friend, and come to find out, he just like myself. We both love ice cream, so he was just like, you don't have to
Mm.
tell everybody.
Yeah. My favorite Judah movie is The Broker because I
Oh
got to
yeah,
see him. I got to see him from start to finish. Normally he's like in and out, but like for him to have that role and to be in it throughout the film, and just seeing him just in the pocket, I loved every minute of it. He got shot. He was loving. He was gangster. He was and he was with another favorite of mine, Taylor Latham, and like and I love seeing them both work together at the same time because it's straight. The chemistry is amazing between them. Whether they fighting or going at it or they just joking around doing improv, and yeah, it's amazing. I love it all. I love it all.
there you go, fashion dolls. That is the Turn the Tables segment with Fred Taylor, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. So, for all of you who have burning questions, I mean, and even for the female side, actresses, I'd have to say my girl Rashida. I'm gonna do a bonus. I would say Rashida. Ooh, Lynette Tichelle, beautiful, beautiful woman,
Mm,
and I've had the pleasure of
okay.
meeting with her. Um, Who's another? Oh my God. Fatu B, if you guys have seen her in Kendra Rainey King's Karma and Heels, I've had the pleasure
Oh,
of sitting down with her. She is the lead character and she has this beautiful big curly hair. And I was just enamored at how beautiful she was. And we were just both admiring each other's beauty. So y'all go and check it out. Kendra Rainey King's Karma and Heels. And she is definitely getting a lot of buzz because of her beauty, because of how excellent she did in the film. Who else is another amazing to be actress that I would say I've had the pleasure of sitting down with? Oh my God. I have to say my girl Simone Jones. She's
oh
awesome.
yeah, she is
Yes.
amazing. I did cut with her, and it was just seeing her do her thing. It was definitely amazing to watch her and the things that she's been in. You know, some stuff I'm like after it's kind of crazy after like I work with someone and then they're doing a risky scene. I'm just like, oh, I can't watch it. I just saw her do. It's so hard to see because you know I'm like, I can't see it. I can't see it. But when I see her do her thing, you could tell that that the skill is there. You could tell that and not only is she's a beautiful woman, but she's she's in everything. She's in everything, and I love that for her. I love that for her, and I love when she like sees my stuff and likes my stuff because then I'm like, okay, we're there. So big shout out to Simone Johns. Love her.
And one other thing I can say about her, when I first met her, I just had like this motherly big sister
Mhm.
feel about her. Like she's baby
Right.
sis to me, and I'm very
Yeah.
protective over her. She knows this. I haven't spoke to her in a minute, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna text her at the end of this interview, let her know I shouted her out. But she
Yeah.
is just so down to earth. She's laid back. I
Oh,
can remember her texting me like, "Hey sis, I'm just checking in." Now I got to do my part
mhm.
as big sister, but she is so
Yeah.
sweet. And also Terry T. Miles. I forgot to add Terry T. Miles. Oh, he gonna kill me.
That,
But yes, you said
that's a
top five. I can only give five, but I'm gonna add him,
yeah.
throw him in the loop. So I mean, it's so
Oh,
many that I've had the pleasure of sitting with. Marcus Middleton. I mean, the list goes on and
hmm
on. We'd be here all day. We'd be here all day
oh
listing all of them.
yeah.
But shout out to the girl
Well,
Simone.
when you talk to Simone, tell her about the time we were on set and she couldn't stand nobody likes my character uncut. Nobody does. And like the vibe that I got from her, she every time I walked past her, she was just like, "You are just," because like I was a strung out pimp, and I looked terrible, and my whole demeanor was just like just grimy, and I had the worst Atlanta accent ever, and just see it, just being on set, and I'm walking past, and she just like, ugh, you're so, you
That
know,
sounds like her.
it, and it was, she was just like, ew, the stuff that I would say, she just be like, get away from me, so that lets me know that I was doing my job because afterwards she was just like, she hugged me, she was like, hey, I can't wait to see you again, so yeah, let her know about that, she gonna tell you the story.
I sure will. That's baby sis, and I love her. So shout outs to Simone. Also shout outs to who else? Oh my God, it's so many. Sasha Love, Natasha
Oh,
Eli. Oh my
yes.
God, shout out to all of them.
Yes, amazing, amazing, amazing talents. I love the fact that she's taken over Texas by storm. Sasha Love, she's taken over Texas, and the way she's killing it down there, I'm gonna have to come down there and help her out.
Yes, shout outs to Sasha
Yes.
Love, and shout outs to you, Fred. This was amazing,
Man,
and I had a great time. So before we let you go, what gems would
okay.
you give to anybody? Because we covered a number of things in this great conversation of reinvention and resilience. Coming back, what would you tell someone?
I would tell someone that your dreams are real, and in order and always follow them. Sometimes sometimes you got to keep them to yourself. You got to protect them, and you should. But most of all, uh, be resilient. Stay positive. Just because you are being delayed does not mean that you're denied. It just means that the timing. It means that you're progressing faster, and things need to catch up. There's God never says no. He'll say he said it's not time, but he'll never say no. Always, just stay yourself. And when it comes time to change, embrace the change. Don't fight it, because it hurts when you do. If you're like me and you're recognizing change is coming, and we are always going to fight change before letting it happen. I would say let the change happen, let it build you, because it's going to make you who you are. And to start to take with that, you'll be fine. Everything happens for a reason. God don't make mistakes. He is never surprised about the outcome, because he invented the outcome. And fear is supposed to happen. You know, fear is created by God. And the reason why it's created by God is because so you can rely on him. Because we all know, if in any event where we are in danger, when we are fearful, what is our first word? God, if you get me out of this. And it's not about him getting you out, it's getting you through. Because in the midst of all the stories that we hear in the Bible, the fire and coming out with no scars and things like that, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. Those are um, um, pain that is not inflicted by us. It's inflicted by God, because those trials and tribulations are supposed to build you. When we do it ourselves, it sets us back. It sets us back months. It sets us back years. What he does, he creates a lane, and you go through it. And when you go through it, it hurts like hell. But when you are done, we look like this. Our black don't crack. You know what I'm saying? We do not crack whatsoever, and we come out stronger than ever before. And that is a thing. So, have your skin peeled off, have your past peeled off, and relive the new you. That's my thing.
And as we talk about renewal and rejuvenation, to add on to what Fred just said, today's final thought: in the face of adversity, let resilience be your greatest weapon and perseverance your guiding light. And I want you all
Mm,
to remember that, Fashion Dolls. Make sure that you are taking the time to reinvent yourself, self reflection.
mm.
And parts of Fred's story, you saw where he took a 10-year hiatus and came back stronger. Let that be a stepping stone, someone else's story, to help encourage you to get out here and not give up as well. So keep going. And that's what I would encourage you guys to do. And I also want you guys to go and check out Rogue by Omega Keys. Shout outs to her.
Woo.
Black female filmmaker. Make sure you guys go and check it out. And also check out Fred and Tears of a Hustler 3 alongside King Judah, out now. And make sure you're staying tuned. Let everyone know where they can follow you. And I'm going to bring you back because I had a great time.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Instagram is the Frederick William Taylor. You can find me there. And on Facebook is just Fred Taylor. Send a shout out, send like, hey, the words of wisdom was great. Whatever. I'll be happy to chat with you. I'll be happy to do to to break bread, to saying, to speak on things. There's no right or wrong with me.
There you go, Fashion Dolls. Fred Taylor, ladies and gentlemen. And we will be back Tuesday, September 1st with So Deb and Matthew Kenner. That'll be at 5:30. So a new showtime. My schedule's been all over the place. Everybody's schedule has been all over the place. And we'll be on set. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Make sure that you guys are following him and go and check out Rogue if you have not. Till next time, Fashion
Absolutely.
Dolls, and make sure y'all go and vote for your favorite look of the week. I gave y'all 5 different looks, and that's going to be posted along with a clip from this amazing conversation with Fred Taylor, Fashion Dolls. So y'all make sure y'all go
And
and check that out.
make sure you go on the dcmawards.com. I am a Rising Star nominee. Go ahead and rack that up. Send me out there on October 17th, y'all. Love y'all.
All right, Fashion Dolls, y'all make sure y'all go vote for Fred. I love y'all, and I will see y'all then. Till next time.
See y'all later.